The oocyte, which is transported from the ovary on 14 days into fallopian tube, where it stay and undergo fertilization. After fertilization, the basically ootid is formed with two nuclei which remain separate from each other. LH hormone is responsible for the initiation of the cleavage. Cleavage is a phenomena in which the cell undergo rapid mitosis. Zygote undergoes series of mitosis to increase the number of cells. Smaller cells called blastomeres, which are arranged or form the loosely arranged clumps. Blastomeres maximize their contact with each other and form the compact ball of cells held together by tight junctions, process called compaction. Further division occur and it forms the 16 cell stage. Name is given morula. Morula formed 3 days after fertilization in the fallopian tube. In compaction, cells are held together by glycoprotein tight junctions. It is now divisible into two groups, polar and apolar, with because they are the in morula 16 cell, so divisible into 8 polar, 8 apolar cells. The outer polar cells contribute trophoblasts. They are arranged in the form of a ring, where the polar cells that get together in a group of cells contribute inner cell mass. Trophoblasts engage in fluid transport to generate a cavity. Outer cells, which are trophoblasts, responsible for fluid transport. By entry of the fluid that expands at 32 to 64 cell cycles, it converts the morula to a sphere-like structure called blastocyst. The trophoblast, which is the outer cell mass, differentiate into polar trophoblast, which is in contact with inner cell mass, and the morula trophoblast, mural trophoblast, surround the blastocyst cavity. Blastocyst hatches out. Now the phenomena of hatching from zona pellucida at 6 to 7 days, assisted by enzyme trypsin. Trypsin actually damages the zona pellucida. Enzyme make a hole in it for the passage of the blastocyst. Blastocyst now oozes out of the small slit, forms a figure of 8, bisected by zona pellucida as shown below. Outer cells are flat, help in transporting or act as a transporting epithelium. Inner cell mass called epiblast. On fourth day after the fertilization, blastocysts enter into uterus. Next 2 days remain floated in the uterine cavity and take secretions of the uterine secretions, which are the source of nutrition at the moment. On the sixth day, blastocysts attach to the uterus. An MCQ which is usually asked that on which day it enter into uterine cavity or on which day blastocysts attach to the uterus. Steps are the dissociation of zona pellucida, adhesion of the blastocyst to the endometrium, number 2. Number 3 is the penetration of the endometrium and migration of the blastocyst, in which the zona pellucida, number 1, is the broken down and blastocysts adhere to the endometrium of the uterus. Then blastocysts penetrate in the endometrium and migrate or embed in the endometrium. This is the 3 steps. Spread 4 is the spread and proliferation of blastocysts. Now, where the blastocysts normally implant? This is another MCQ. Normal site of implantation of blastocysts: posterior wall near fundus in median plane. In posterior wall of the uterus, in the center or median plane, blastocysts that embed. This is the site of actually the decidua bezalis. Trophoblast cells at the embryonic pole begin to penetrate between the epithelial cells of uterine mucosa. Uterine mucosa in which they make a space or penetrate. On 6th day, L-selectin for capture of blastocysts on trophoblast cells form, and correspondingly carbohydrate receptors on the uterine epithelium mediate attachment of blastocysts. So endometrium develops the carbohydrate receptors on it, whereas the blastocysts that form the L-selectin for attachment. Further entry of the blastocysts or invasion by trophoblasts involve integrins, which are also expressed by trophoblasts and extracellular matrix. There are 2 things: molecular laminin and fibronectin, integrin receptors. Laminin promote attachment, that is blastocyst attachment is promoted by laminin, while the fibronectin stimulate the migration into the endothelium or endometrium. Trophoblasts differentiate now. Previously it is single layer outer cell mass or trophoblasts single layer. Now it differentiates into cytotrophoblasts and sensitiotrophoblasts. Actually, the cytotrophoblast cells, primarily trophoblast is cytotrophoblastic cell, which proliferate, undergo mitosis, and form a new layer outside it. Name is given sensitiotrophoblasts. The implantation of blastocysts is completed in second week, 6 to 10 days after ovulation. That is complete. This is another days which are asked the in MCQ. The implantation of blastocyst is completed in second week. Now cytotrophoblasts show active mitosis. New cell migrate to form the sensitiotrophoblasts. Sensitiotrophoblasts form outside the cytotrophoblast, where they fuse and lose their cell membrane. Sensitiotrophoblasts cells have no regular cell membrane that loses out and their cytoplasm that merge with each other. So, sensitiotrophoblasts is rapidly expanding multinucleated mass that has a protoplasm and the nuclei only, with no cell boundaries. Sensitiotrophoblasts helps blastocyst to slowly embedding into endometrium. So it is the sensitiotrophoblasts which help the blastocyst to embed in the endometrium. It displaces the endometrial cells at implantation site. Penetrated defect in endometrium, so it totally embed in it, and there is a small defect which is seen, the point from where it enters into blastocyst. That is name is given penetrating defect, is closed by a fibrin coagulum, closing plug, and endometrial cells undergo cell death, facilitate invasion. That cells are damaged. After embedding in the endometrium, connective tissue cells around the implantation site accumulate glycogen and lipids. Syncytium engulfs these cells, which is the endometrial cells full of glycogen and lipids. That syncytium engulfs these cells, which provide a rich source of embryonic nutrition. Syncytium now synthesizes HCG, human chorionic gonadotropin hormone, which enter the blood in lacunae and maintain the life of corpus luteum, enter into circulation of mother, then over circulation to approach the corpus luteum. It help in early check of pregnancy by HCG level, human chorionic gonadotropin level, in blood and urine at the end of second week. Now, small spaces appear in early amniotic cavity, and soon amnioblasts separate from the epiblast and form the amnion and enclose the amniotic cavity. Embryoblast cells, inner cell mass, separate into two layers. Epiblast, inner cell mass previously a bundle of fiber, or group of fiber, which now differentiate into two layers. Number one is the epiblast, which are long columnar cells related to amniotic cavity. Hypoblasts below that, small cuboidal cells. Epiblasts form floor of amniotic cavity. Hypoblasts continue with Husser's membrane to form the roof of primary umbilical vesicle or yolk sac, primary yolk sac. At embryonic pole, vacuole appear in syncytium, where these vacuole fuse to form species known as lacunae. It erodes the blood vessels, maternal blood vessels, syncytium. So lacunae become in contact with maternal blood vessels, arteries and veins, and become filled with blood of maternal origin and glandular secretion, which are the uterine glands. Fluid or secretion which is collected in lacunae. Fluid from lacunae by diffusion provide nutrition to embryonic disc to establish early uteroplacental diffusion. Venous blood is removed by maternal veins. As blastocyst implants, endometrial cells undergo decidual reaction. The cells swell up because of the accumulation of the glycogen and lipid, so-called decidual cells, and provide nutrition. This phenomenon is also known as decidual reaction, which is favorably asked in SCQ. Decidual reaction means the cells swell up because of accumulation of glycogen and lipid and become the source of nutrition for the embryonic disc. At 12th day, adjacent lacunae network giving a sensitive trophoblast sponge-like appearance. Syncytium erodes the sinusoid and maternal blood freely flows into lacunae. Hypoblasts develop Hassel membrane to form the primary umbilical zygote. Now, extraembryonic mesoderm fills space between trophoblasts and two vesicles. Space appear and finally form four components. Around the amniotic sac, the extraembryonic mesoderm is surrounded. Name is somatic mesoderm. Around the connecting stalk, the mesoderm is surrounded. Is also somatic mesoderm. And the mesoderm which is lining inside the trophoblast, name is given chorionic plate, and the mesoderm which is surrounding the yolk sac, name is given splanchnic mesoderm.